Today may go down as one of the most hype days in Beyblade history. We just got a massive news drop over the next series of Beyblade known as Beyblade X, including the bays, the boxes, the stadium, the gimmick. There's so much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover everything in this video. There's so much, so treat this as an overview. So let's quickly go over the bays. First up, we have BX01 Dran Sword. We've talked about this one before, the right spinning attack dragon bay. And its parts are pretty interesting. It's 3-60 flat. Next up, we have BX02. This is Hell's Scythe, as I said before. And it looks like it's one word. It's not really Dran Sword. It's like Dran Sword or Hell's Scythe, all combined. And its parts are 4-60 taper. Next up is one we haven't really seen before besides a silhouette. It is BX03 Wizard Arrow. This is a starter yet again, and I really like this one's chip design. It has like a little wizard guy doing like the shush with like magic coming out of its fingers. That's cool. I like it. Next up, we have the defense type. This is Knight Shield and its green design. All these bays colors go along with their types, if you didn't notice. I like the motif for this bay too, having like the knight helmet. It's pretty cool. And its part is 3-80 needle. We also have some boosters as well, and these are recolors of the other bays I mentioned. We have BX05 Wizard Arrow in this red color. I like the yellow a little bit more, and its part is 4-80 ball. So it's all the same parts that we've had before. I say we've had before like these bays are out right now, and we already have them. But you know what I mean. Next up, we have a blue recolor of Knight Shield, and its parts are 3-80 in. And we aren't done there. We are not done with the products yet. Let's move on to the new stadium sets, and I'll talk about the stadium a little bit later. This stadium set is BX07 Start Dash set, and it comes with a set exclusive version of Dran Sword. This is the same kind of thing they did for Beyblade Burst, so no surprise. The recolor looks really similar to the original one, but just maybe a little bit more detail on like the sticker part. This set comes with Dran Sword, the new string launcher for Beyblade X, which is pretty blocky, very similar to Beyblade Burst, I think. The new launcher grip, which I like the design of it, I just don't think it looks comfortable to hold. And then of course, this comes with the new stadium, which has a whole lot of stuff to talk about. I'll move on to that later. You guys may as well just go get some popcorn. You guys may also want to go check out Mall of Toys because they're doing reservations for all these bays, and I'm sure the site will be updated with all these pictures as well. It's $5 to reserve a bay, so that way whenever pre-order becomes live later on, you can guarantee yourself a spot in line. I'm sure a lot of the stuff is going to sell out pretty quick, so go check the link in the description down below. But let's move on to the rest of the products. After BX07, we have BX08. This is the 3-on-3 set, and I don't know if I'm going to pick up this set. I mean, I probably will because look at me. But this set just comes with more recolors of things that we already are getting in earlier releases. We have a yellow Hell's Scythe, which is kind of cool. We have a green Wizard Arrow, so we're getting them in all different colors, and a red Knight Shield. And I'm not done yet. There's other releases as well. I gotta go to my notes for this. There's BX09, the Beyblade Battle Pass. This is a bay logger. That's kind of it. This just looks to be an updated bay logger. It still tracks your RPM with your launches. It still connects to an app, and there is a new Beyblade X app for points, and you can also, I assume, do this challenge bay, which looks like Dragoon. The picture kind of looks ugly, but I'm sure it'll look way better in real life. And the releases after this are pretty basic. We have a standalone stadium with a slightly different color rail system. I'll get to that. We have BX11, which is just a basic black launcher grip. And once again, it just doesn't look comfortable to hold. It's just a slab of like angled plastic. I want like a rubber grip or something to grip onto. And then the last release is the 3-on-3 holder, which a lot of people use to keep their competitive combos together. Some of you guys may be interested in it, and it's pretty cheap as well. Those are all the releases. So now let's get on to how the bays actually work. Before the gimmick, we need to know the names of the parts. So the layer section at the top seems to be all one piece. That is called the blade. We have the middle section called the ratchet, and then the tip is called the bit. So the gimmick for Beyblade X is speed, and how these Beyblades connect to the new stadium in order to produce such speed. How it works is you'll have these little gear pieces on the underside of the Beyblade on the bit, and that's going to hook on to these kind of ripcord teeth-like sections of the new Beyblade Stadium, causing it to just rip around just really fast. I don't want to be too overly hyped here. There are some things to be skeptical about. For example, this does seem like a Hasbro gimmick. It has these rails that the Beyblade's supposed to ride to produce more speed. Hasbro has done that for like 4 seasons now, but this actually looks like it works. I'm also kind of concerned with how tall these Beyblades are. They look pretty tall. We don't know how tall they are in comparison to Beyblade Burst, but I'm a little worried about that. But overall, the main gimmick here is speed. And yes, the Beyblades still burst. They're not really as exciting of a burst as original Burst, but it's just kind of there. They definitely made a point about how they're combining multiple things from multiple generations. You have the typing and just Beyblade in general coming from the plastic gen. You have the metal on these bays, which seem to be mostly metal, coming from Metal Fight. And then you have the burst mechanic coming from Burst, just kind of combining everything together. Going back to the stadium really quick, it looks like there are a couple of knockout points that are standard knockouts. And then there's one bigger knockout point called the Extreme KO, and that's going to count as more points whenever you're battling these bays as well. That's a topic for a whole other video. There's also a big chunk of Takara Tomi's video, which is just battling these bays. And obviously, they're going to cherry pick the best battles. They did that for Beyblade Burst, and they're going to make some bays look better than others because it's their video. They can do what they want. The bays look pretty small in the stadium as well, so they're just going to be flying around everywhere. They also show you how the bays disassemble into their parts, which are the blade, the ratchet, and the bit, and they just look pretty small, which is a good thing. It's a good thing for the bays to be smaller because that means that they can get bigger over time. There are only 3 parts, and I'm a little surprised that the metal section of the bay and like the chip piece in the middle, I'm surprised that that's combined into one part. But I can absolutely guarantee you that next season of Beyblade X, they're going to make that into 2 parts. Let's talk about the package design as well. It's definitely really simplified, and it does kind of remind me of Hasbro packaging, which really is not a bad thing because I think that the Hasbro packaging is the best part of the Hasbro Beyblades in general. It's also annoying that you can only get a string launcher in the new set, but I assume they're going to release them several times in the future. But that is the overview of Beyblade X. All the products are going to be releasing July 15th, and a lot of them are going to be up for pre-order either right now or really soon. There's so much to cover, and I'm sure I missed quite a bit, but I'll make follow-up videos about the stuff that I did miss. I will say I was a little bit underwhelmed by the designs of the bays. I think the box art pictures, they don't really do it justice. It kind of makes the bays look ugly. But when you see them in person, the metal shines more and they definitely look better. Still though, it is radically different compared to Beyblade Burst, compared to Metal Fight. And I would definitely say that this is very similar to the initial lineup of MFB. They're very simple. They don't really have any crazy gimmicks going on, but they will add those over time. I'm still a little skeptical about some of the things that I've seen so far, but I'm really excited to get these bays, to try them out. A new generation is always really exciting. The last new generation was 8 years ago, and the one before that, 14 years, so it's exciting. It is truly an exciting time to be a Beyblade fan. But thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Have fun, stay away.